Do people who are transsexual, non-binary, and in extended LGBTQ+ categories suffer from mental illness? No, being transgender, non-binary, or part of the LGBTQ+ community is not a mental illness. The World Health Organization and the American Psychological Association recognize being transgender as a natural variation of human gender identity, and not as a mental disorder. However, research has shown that members of the LGBTQ+ community experience higher rates of mental health issues, often due to stigma, discrimination, and lack of social support. Why do people become transsexual or non-binary? The exact reason why some people identify as transgender is not fully understood. However, current research suggests that a combination of biological, psychological, and social factors play a role. These can include brain structure and hormones. Some studies suggest that there may be differences in the brain structure and hormones of transgender individuals compared to those of cisgender individuals. Childhood experiences such as feeling a disconnect between their gender identity and the gender they were assigned at birth can play a role in a person's gender identity. Culture and societal influences, exposure to diverse gender expressions and identities, as well as social support for gender diversity, can influence a person's understanding of their own gender. It is important to note that every individual's journey and experience with their gender identity is unique and valid. Why do these people insist on being addressed by the pronouns they prescribe to themselves, and is it an onus that other people have to feel obliged to follow? Using the correct pronouns for someone is a matter of basic respect and recognition of their gender identity. When a person requests to be referred to by specific pronouns, it is a way for them to affirm and validate their gender identity. Using the wrong pronouns can be harmful and cause significant distress, and can also contribute to a hostile and unwelcoming environment. It is not an onus or burden for others to use someone's correct pronouns, but rather a way to show respect and support for their gender identity. Using the correct pronouns is a simple act of kindness and inclusion that can make a big impact in someone's life. At what point does this become ridiculous, where new pronouns are being created it seems on the daily, and why is it wrong if I want to identify as a 3,000 milliliter stainless steel water bottle? The creation of new gender-neutral or non-binary pronouns is a natural evolution of language and a reflection of the increasing recognition and visibility of diverse gender identities. While some people may see it as excessive or confusing, it is important to understand that for many individuals, having correct pronoun usage is a matter of personal dignity and validation of their identity. It is not appropriate to mock or dismiss someone's gender identity, regardless of whether it aligns with societal norms. Making fun of or denying someone's identity can be harmful and contribute to a negative and hostile identity. Regarding identifying as a 3,000 milliliter stainless steel water bottle, while individuals have the freedom to identify however they choose, this kind of identification is not the same as gender. Refers to a person's deeply held sense of their own gender, which is typically male, female, or non-binary. Identifying as an inanimate object does not align with widely accepted definitions of gender identity. Based on my upbringing, neurobiology, and other factors that I indeed do identity as a 3,000 milliliter stainless steel water bottle. While individuals are free to identify as they choose, it is important to understand that gender identity refers to a person's deeply held sense of their own gender, which is typically male, female, or non-binary. Identifying as an inanimate object, such as a 3,000 milliliter stainless steel water bottle, is not recognized as a gender identity and is not consistent with widely accepted definitions of gender identity. It is also important to consider the impact of one's belief and identification on others. Making a claim to identify as an inanimate object may be seen as dismissive or disrespectful to the experiences of those who identify as transgender or non-binary, and can contribute to a negative and hostile environment. It is recommended to engage in self-reflection and to seek out understanding and knowledge about different gender identities. Okay, so say that I want to identify as a gender identity I created in my mind based on the experiences that I have had in my life. Such as from the knees down I am female because I have small calves and thus demanding to be referred to as a male but with feminine calves, and my pronouns and are she calves/they calves? Should other people be compelled to refer to me by these pronouns because I have suffered during my childhood through the bullying of my small calves and my neurobiological predisposition for having small calves? While individuals are free to identify as they choose, it is important to understand that gender identity is a deeply held sense of one's own gender identity and is typically male, female, or non-binary. Creating a unique gender identity based on specific physical characteristics such as the size of one's calves is not widely recognized or understood as a gender identity. Additionally, it is important to consider the impact of one's belief and identification. Demanding that others use specific pronouns that are not widely recognized or used may cause confusion and difficulty for those trying to understand and respect your identity. It may also be seen as unreasonable and potentially disrespectful to those who identify as transgender or non-binary. If you are struggling with gender identity, it may be helpful to seek out support from a mental health professional or a community that specializes in gender identity issues. They can help provide guidance and support as you navigate your feelings and experiences. What if I come from a country where gender pronouns are non-existent? Should I be obliged to educate myself for the pleasure of other people when my culture and religion states that these people are subject to God's wrath? It is important to recognize that diverse cultural and religious beliefs exist and shape how people understand and view gender identity. However, when interacting with individuals from different cultures and backgrounds, it is important to show respect for their gender identity and to use the pronouns that they request. Refusing to use someone's correct pronouns can be hurtful and contribute to a hostile and unwelcoming environment. It is important to be mindful of the impact of one's actions and words on others, regardless of one's personal beliefs and cultural background. If you are from a culture or religion where gender pronouns are not traditionally recognized, it is still important to make an effort to understand and respect the perspectives and experiences of those who identify with specific gender pronouns. This may involve learning about and becoming familiar with different gender identities and pronoun usage. It is also important to recognize that in many countries, discrimination based on gender identity is illegal and can have serious consequences. It is recommended to educate oneself on the laws and cultural norms of the specific country and community in which one is residing. Is it not disrespectful for the people who want to be addressed by their pronouns by people whose religions condemn these sort of actions such as Islam? At this point, who has the moral high ground and who should adhere to whose command? It is important to understand that individuals have the right to self-identify and to be addressed by the pronouns that they request. Refusing to use someone's correct pronouns can be hurtful and contribute to a hostile and unwelcoming environment. At the same time, it is important to respect the religious beliefs of others and to have open and honest dialogue about differences in perspectives and experiences. It is possible to show respect for both one's own religious beliefs and the experiences and perspectives of others. When there is a conflict between religious beliefs and respect for an individual's gender identity, it is important to seek a solution that balances these two values. This may involve finding ways to respectfully acknowledge and address differing beliefs and experiences, or seeking the support of a mediator or religious leader to help find a mutually acceptable solution. Ultimately, it is important to strive for a world where individuals of all gender identities and religious beliefs are treated with respect and dignity. This requires effort and understanding from all parties involved and a commitment to finding solutions that uphold the rights and well-being of all individuals.